Before this review starts, I just want to let you guys all know I hope you have a really good 4th of July weekend. I know things are crazy out there and still scary. As much as this is America's birthday, let's all admit things are kind of bleak and sad, but usually what I like to do is sometimes cozy on up and watch a movie that I very much appreciate, which is what this review is for. And very least, if for nothing else, I can give you guys something that I truly love and have a special place in my heart for a very long time, but just wanted to at least say that. Now, on with the review.
Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, Richard Dreyfuss, Jaws. See it before you go swimming.
Jaws is directed by Steven Spielberg with a screenplay by Peter Benchley and Carl Gottlieb. The film stars Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, Richard Dreyfuss, Lorraine, and Murray Hamilton. According to IMDb's plot synopsis, when a massive killer shark unleashes chaos on a beach community off Long Island, it's up to the local police chief, a marine biologist, and an old seabird to hunt the beast down. Steven Spielberg is my favorite director to this day, and he inspires me to be what I want to be, that is a filmmaker. This man's work needs no introduction. He is a genius. He has pioneered what modern day filmmaking is because of his contribution to what he thought filmmaking at the time needed. A breath of fresh air, excitement, wonder. That is what Spielberg has always brought to his movies. And even back in 1975, he brought something new when it came to adapting Peter Benchley's novel of the same name. All of his films are some of my favorites. Without a doubt, I can name you just a ton of his films that would be up there as some of my favorites. But really, this is not only my favorite Spielberg movie, but this is one of my favorite movies of all time. Jaws, to this day, has a huge monumental impact on me and how much I love how simple and effective this movie was. For a film that has only a $9 million budget is insane to me on how much a movie like this can really change how filmmaking would become as years, decades would go on to where we're at this point. After rewatching it, that statement still holds true. I love this movie. Without a doubt, no matter what happens, no matter how old I get, no matter how much time goes on, this movie will still hold that place in my heart of being my favorite Spielberg film and just being an all around good time to watch, especially around this time. It's something that I think a lot of people tend to never usually forget when it comes to watching a movie like this. It fits for right now. It's just summer vibes and enjoyment. This movie takes the cake. Everything is pitch perfect and never misses a beat at all. There is nothing terrible about this movie. None. Zero. Nada. Nothing about this film is terrible or shown its age. It holds up significantly well, even after 50 years. So now here are the positives that I have. The performances are fantastic. Scheider, Shaw, and Dreyfuss are all terrific and work brilliantly together, laying it a more grounded tone to it. These three actors, let alone, keep this movie from going absurd and crazy. They are able to keep this film on a grounded level and make it relatable. Having Shire, Shaw, and Dreyfuss have them all work together on trying to kill the shark, even though it doesn't happen until near the end of the movie, it's effective, it's well played out, but really just simply alone, just the three actors by themselves, they help carry this movie in making sure that it doesn't go into the absurd level of killer animals. Because nowadays we kind of tend to expect the outrageous zaniness of it, but this movie was able to keep it in a grounded level to where it kept everything from ever becoming absurd, and it's all because of these performances. The direction is phenomenal. Director Steven Spielberg brought terror and adventure that felt just right. At only 27 years old, it showed how bright he was when it came to being a director. This was, I believe, his second feature film with Universal, and there was a lot of issues with this movie, and I will get into the production side of it, but man, he put a lot of effort, a lot of his heart and dedication into this film, and it still shows to this day how much that even through all the problems that were going on with the movie, he was able to still capture every shot and every frame in terms of how he wanted this movie to be, how it wanted to come off in terms of being horrifying, but also a sense of adventure when the three leads do try to kill the shark. The story is investing. Watching this local police chief, along with a shark hunter and a marine biologist, save a New England town from a shark was engaging, blending everything together pretty much perfect. Everything about this movie could have gone into, like I said, the campy, corny route, and thankfully it never went there because the story was able to keep itself investing into the characters and the town and how their reaction would be to a shark attack like this and how things would escalate into what will become the three main leads hunting the shark. And for as much as people can say that, sure, you don't see the shark that much, it was able to keep its focus on the characters. And that's what works about this movie, is having the characters be the center focal point throughout the entire duration and making sure that they kept you invested. And every time they were on screen, they kept you there. And to this day, I still find myself wrapping up, even though I know what happens in this movie, it is so well done and how much this story keeps you really invested in how this dangerous situation would become and how it would lend itself to being such a really fun but also terrifying feeling of a shark attack. The music is effective. Composer John Williams crafts an iconic and terrifying score. He also brought an adventurous and fun nature as well. Everyone knows the score to this movie. It's iconic. It's easily one of the most memorable and synonymous scores in cinema history. There's no need for introductions. John Williams, he's a master. He has been always a gifted composer for a very long time in film history, and he still continues to show that today. But back then, it showed how much this guy was a genius, how brilliant, how talented he was. And to this day, a score like this, it still hits very well. Almost feeling like goosebumps, how much that score can kind of really set a tone, a vibe, feeling. When that score hits the shark, you know he's coming. You know it is going to end really badly. And there's also a little bit of a whimsical nature to it when it does have our three main leads going out and killing the shark and showcasing how there is a fun nature to even something that is terrifying, to show how much that you can still find the fun of it all even in terrifying moments. Cinematography is amazing. Cinematographer Bill Butler shoots a beautiful and frightening film that showcases the town, but most importantly, the ocean, keeping it intense after 50 years. This was, I think, one of the first movies to ever shoot underwater and shooting water sequences on camera, which is impressive, especially for the 70s. I don't know how they were able to manage that, but Bill Butler, he shot a gorgeous looking movie that captured the entire town of Amity and how much this town can look really beautiful in the summer. But he also knows how to shoot from the shark's perspective, but also the terrifying nature of what the shark can do and how terrifying it is to be in its presence and how he captures the ocean side of things so beautifully that I was just, even after 50 years, it's amazing how much this movie looks terrific. The editing is on point. Every cut felt precise and right every time, feeling consistent throughout the duration of the film. There's not a moment in this movie where the editing just drops off and just completely vanishes and it feels inconsistent. It felt precise every time it happened. Every cut of this movie worked, and it's due to the fact that they were able to hide and manage the shark, which wasn't working all the time, and yet somehow with the editing in this movie, it worked out seamlessly for it. The pacing and runtime is excellent. Every scene never lingered on, but never felt too short. With a runtime of 2 hours and 4 minutes, it felt natural. Usually nowadays, with a movie like this, you would think it would be less than that, but surprisingly, it goes on for over 2 hours. But it never feels like it's that long or too short. It felt just right. It's almost like there was the sweet spot for this movie that it needed to be for its length, and it worked out perfectly when it needed to. Production is insane. Though, like I mentioned, the production was troubled by problems which involved the shark and how it was not working a lot of the times, and originally it was going to have a lot of the shark, and because of those troubleshoots, that's why you don't see it a lot, but near the end, they do show it a little bit more often than not, but it's just impressive on how much, even though they went over budget and overshooting the film, they were able to get all of it in. From the props, locations, and crew work, it's all paid off. As much as I understand that today most people would try their best to really stay within budget, it sucks because you want everything to go according to plan. But even with that, it all worked out amazingly. And the fact that they were able to get everything in and shoot it all within the overtime that they had to do, it's amazing on how much this movie was able to even remotely pull itself together and combine to make it a fantastic film. The writing is stellar. Writers Peter Benchley and Carl Gottlieb crafts a natural and solid script that focuses on characters than not having any character moments. And that is one thing I can say still is amazing to watch with this movie. How the characters, they all feel like people you would know and see in town or even a city, but really just natural people you would find yourself coming across in this day and age. They feel like people you would know and meet out and about, making for some memorable characters, but also quotes. To this day, you have so many people misquoting the iconic line of "We're gonna need a bigger boat," when really it's
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
so many moments in this movie just work so well and they blend seamlessly, but it's also because of how strong the writing was to make sure that those moments stuck out for audiences to just take in and appreciate. The effects hold up. Though the shark isn't used much, and like I mentioned, the shark broke down so much that it was the reason why you didn't see a lot of it throughout most of the movie until the end, it still doesn't look bad. As much as I know it is minimal, maybe some people could even say that you can even tell at certain moments, but really, though, in my eyes, it just worked out pretty well that honestly, it still holds up pretty nicely. There may have been issues with it, but when used, it worked out pretty well in the end. Thankfully, as much as they could have used a lot of the shark, I'm kind of glad that it didn't work a lot of the times because they were able to utilize some of the props and scoring from John Williams to help carry those key elements that needed to work for the shark to be effective in those scenes without having the shark there at all. But when the shark did work, it still looked pretty nice. It looked pretty well for what it is. Sure, maybe there could have been some areas where they could have touched up or have done a little bit better, but really, honestly, for what this movie was trying to accomplish, it succeeded in that regard. There's a reason why Jaws changed the game for the industry as a whole. All the modern summer blockbusters owe it all to this movie. This is the film that pretty much made summer blockbusters what they are. Like what we're seeing this year with Jurassic World, Rebirth, Superman, Fantastic Four, you can thank this movie for doing that. It is the reason why you see a lot of movies in the summer, especially big movies of this scale, be released during this time. I will always love this movie and continue to watch it around this time of year. I usually like to watch it in the beginning of July, especially around the 4th of July, because of how much this movie really just captures that vibe so well, and I love it to death for that reason. And of course, I'm going to give Jaws a 10 out of 10. This movie is just perfect. There is nothing wrong with this movie. I love it to death. It is still my favorite Spielberg movie, one of my favorite movies of all time. If you haven't got a chance, highly recommend it, especially if you can find the Blu-ray version. I think the Blu-ray version of this movie is amazing. It is fantastic. Maybe there's a 4K, but if you can just get a Blu-ray version, you'll be good because of how well they were able to restore the original footage of the film. Seriously, you'd be doing a disservice if you did not sit down and watch this film, especially around this time of year. You won't regret it. So I will be soon doing a review for Jurassic World Rebirth. So yes, look forward to that review and other reviews coming soon.